why don't we just do a quick round of intros to start off with, and then I have a list of questions that we can just guide the conversation.
My name is Brandon. I'm the head of growth here at Nibiru. I've been with the team for about 9 months now, but I lead the user acquisition and go-to-market strategies here. Excited to be chatting about growth and different initiatives kind of taking place in the Web3 space. So yeah, look forward to having a fruitful discussion with the rest of these builders.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Hi, everybody. I'm Ivy. I'm from Chainbase team. I'm heading up the marketing efforts. I've been in crypto space for almost 6 years. I've worked with several of the major exchanges previously. I joined Chainbase team actually quite recently, but I'm very excited, about the road ahead, and we're launching our Mainnet at the end of this year. And thanks, everybody.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin. I'm with Atlas Foundation, focusing on ecosystem and leading developer growth efforts. So basically everything top of the funnel, getting more projects, getting more developers ready for that. Before this, I spent 2 years at Polygon doing that. So yeah, excited to talk more about growth and learning from all these brilliant minds up here.
Hey, hello everyone. So I'm Martin Lee. I'm head of developer relations at Circuit. I also serve with Quantstam, and I wear multiple hats. I also host East Taipei as a community host. I also teach at the university. So that's kind of like the summary. I've been in the crypto space, Quantstam and Circuit since the beginning, so around 6 years. Yeah, looking forward to chat. So I'm myself, but I dabble into the community side of things. Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna have to play hot potato to figure out this mic situation. So let's go through the first set of questions first. This is going to be focused on grants. Any good technology solves a painful problem. What commercial use cases are you encouraging your ecosystem to apply your technology to?
Yeah, so the first take, obviously the fundamentals, so having a really solid DEX, lending protocol and whatnot. The way we look at grants right now, I think, if chosen correctly, they can be helpful, but we've noticed, at least at our experience, when we went live with our mainnet, there tends to be a lot of grant farmers, and so it's important for us to, when we look at deploying any type of grant, we really do our due diligence in evaluating these dApps, making sure they have a strong team that's building the project, and really, honing in on the overall roadmap of the project itself. Typically, we really do look at founders, and we want to see, are they going to be able to take this org from 0 to 1? Are they able to clearly differentiate their unique value propositions? So these are some of the things we look at, and some of the applications that we're looking at right now are mostly on the prediction market side. Obviously, with the U.S. elections coming up in the next couple of months, people are quote unquote aiming into predicting who's going to become the president, right? But I think this can be applied to a lot of different other use cases, just general betting on who's going to win the football game or whatnot. So I see a lot of utility here, and so that's kind of where we're putting our efforts in.
All right, so I guess before we talk about rent, I need to introduce about Chainbase a little bit. So we're not like all the other layer ones, although we're also a layer one. We're a omni-chain data network. So basically, what we do is we aggregate on-chain data from all the blockchains. Up to now, we've already integrated with more than 200 layer ones and layer twos, I think. So in terms of grants, so we're actually approaching a different method. So we mainly design our grant program to encourage our developers to build vertical crypto models on top of Chainbase. So it's a whole new field, I guess. It's unlike all the other layer ones, right? So you guys, I guess all of you need DeFi infra and everything, but we're more focused on data and AI. So this is a whole new field for us. We would want to use our rent for the true developers who can add value to AI and to crypto. So I guess this is all that I can share as of today. If I have more updates, we'll keep you guys updated.
Yep, I guess for us, I think Ivy is right on the money there because Aptos is inherently a general purpose layer 1 blockchain. So we kind of like want to see innovation across DeFi, NFT, gaming, and everything. But just to be a little bit more specific here, I think what we're really looking for is to see innovation in all these different sectors where it makes it easier to onboard people, new people, and easier, better user experience using, for example, a lot of technologies like keyless framework that makes it incredibly easy to set up a non-custodial wallet natively on the Aptos blockchain, which is not quite possible anywhere else. And all these different things, we're looking for basically people leveraging the uniqueness and unique advantage of Aptos. And that's what we're really, really excited about. Because if you talk about today, where we talk about on-chain users today, it's generously a couple 100,000 people, 1 million maximum. But then you think about the largest applications in the world today. You talk about the TikToks of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Roblox of the world. There are hundreds of millions, if not billions of users. That just means we're one breakout app away from that, and away from onboarding massive adoption that gives them the interoperability. It has to be an on-chain thing. And that's why if you look at what Aptos offers, we're building all these things like keyless framework that lets you create all this with just social login and have a non-custodial wallet yourself, and that's natively on-chain and it's free. It's not Web3 off where you have to pay a shit ton of money. And things like that. We love to see people leveraging on all these advantages of Aptos across the vertical. I guess that's like what we're looking on, and we're very excited to support builders to do that.
Right, and on Circuit side, so basically our tech works that we kind of not infiltrate, but we scan all the transactions and prevent malicious transactions from going through. So naturally, what we kind of focus on is on the DeFi sector and financial sector, real world assets kind of sector. Like in my mind, like this is targeting more towards real asset, traditional funds, etc. So that you have a layer 2 that has an extra layer of security, right? You can park your funds in the protocol and you have much less worry that the protocol is getting hacked, because when it gets hacked, it can be like intercepted and stopped right there. So that's kind of like the natural tendency that we're working for. In general, though, I kind of like love what Kevin is saying. Essentially, I love to see what is actually being useful, actually pushing out to the non-Web3 people. I think that's one of the key, and that's why I am really bullish, long-term bullish on like real-world asset kind of things. So.
Appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to get a little spicy with these questions, so just to make it interesting for everybody in the room. Okay, for general purpose, for DeFi, for prediction markets, or for data, what other ecosystems are you partnering with to source more builders? And the more alpha you can serve here, the better for the industry. Again, the question is, what other ecosystems are you partnering with to source more builders?
Yeah, so I mean, we're partnering with a lot of like infra bridge providers to allow for cross-chain compatibility. Really for us right now has been prioritizing the current builders on our chain, but also obviously having grant programs to encourage new people to want to build on the chain itself. I think one thing that we've taken an initiative on in Nibiru is pivoting and focusing on the EVM side. Obviously the TAM, total addressable market on EVM front is significantly bigger versus on Cosmos. And so, I mean, we've taken that route just given from a strategic standpoint to really just hone in on and invite Solidity builders that are just going to be, that have the proven knowledge and experience to be able to build these applications on our chain. And so we're, building the infrastructure to be able to provide that resource for these developers. So yeah, I mean, to go back to the question, it really is like, I can't really announce like some of the bridge partners we're currently working with. Axelar is through IBC right now, so that's currently one partnership we have. There's several others. You can maybe kind of speculate on who, but we are working closely with them, and they've been helpful in introducing various other dApps that we can start building on our chain.
From the nature of our of chain-based, so we're not actually competitor to basically anybody. We're adding value and provide clean data and easy to use data basically to every ecosystem that is available. So from that front, I guess we are partnering with everybody. So, but more vertically, speaking of AI, we just announced our partnership with IO.net. So for AI, basically IO providing the computer power and chain-based, we're providing the data, the clean data, AI trainable data. And I believe we just formed a partnership with Flock.io as well. Well, Flock, they're like AI master marketplace. So I believe we're a great value add to them as well. And I'm not sure about our integration process, but I guess sooner or later we're gonna support all you guys data aggregation and data APIs in very, very recent future. So we are looking forward to that.
Yep, I guess for us, we basically play well with everybody, at least most that we try out. Because we think the space is really small, we're gonna push it forward. But I think if we were to prioritize or nail down one sector, is that how many of you know what's the programming language you build on Aptos? Yeah, can shout it out actually. It's actually Move, right? So that's why if you look at what Aptos does, a lot of work needs to be put in education. So why Move? Why not just Solidity or Rust or whatever, right? And basically pushing this together with other Move-based ecosystems like Movement, like other stuff, other new ones. Try to grow the pie because everyone's like using the same original type of Move, which is the Move on Aptos, which might be different from other variations of Move. But in general, we play with a lot of basically all the rest of the Move chains, basically using the same type of Move, and together we try to grow the education side because audio is not that hard to pick up. It's actually quite similar to Rust. Syntax looks a little bit similar. It's still a little bit of a learning curve. So together, I think we work with a lot of these ecosystems to kind of grow the education side of it, if we were to pinpoint one sector. But we basically play well with everyone.
Yeah. So on Circuit side, I guess it's the same. We have make friends with everyone, and basically the friends will become partners. I think that's pretty much the same. But one of our focus is, as I said, like we want to push for Web2, kind of like bringing in. So we kind of like worked with some of the accelerators that have a mix of Web2 and Web3. We give workshops kind of on the education side, but not only on one specific language, but like, hey, generally this is what blockchain is like, and there's like a bunch of stuff you need to look into. I typically do like very general because I teach, and so I do talk about Move and to talk about Solidity. It's like, hey, you have these things, and why should you consider like blockchain building on blockchain? What's the real value of it? And that's basically to have real users. You need to have a mindshare of people who are building real applications to understand. Oh, this is why we should do it, and then they start building it. And I think that can kind of like bring more interesting kind of apps that everyone. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Thanks for sharing, everybody. So on the topic of, I guess, reinforcing network effects with the grants program or identifying, the types of builders that you're looking for. Again, the question is about network effects.
Yeah, so at least what we do is whenever someone gets approved for a grant or they decide to build on our chain, we have a community of different builders on our chain via like a Telegram group chat or like via Discord. We try to connect them with everyone, right? So if someone's creating a wallet, they're creating a DEX, what does a lending protocol need? They need a DEX, right? So we try to find different synergies across the board and try to find and plug and play based on what we think is like most effective. For the most part, this has been very effective for us. Just seeing like these dApps, and then they're able to scale out a bit more than they're more like narrow-minded approach to just building this one specific application. they scale that into like more grander ideas. So as a result, that's like, been pretty pivotal for us.
Speaking of developers, so our data services basically serves already exceeding like 26,000 of registered developers up to now. But on top of that, actually we're approaching a more wider, Web2 convert to Web3 approach. For example, we just integrated with Google Cloud Data Per Service BigQuery. And BigQuery only, they tap into 7 million Web2 developers in APAC only. So I believe, by more integration like this, we can offer more value or a easier approach, easier tap for Web3 developers to take a peek into Web3. Think of the number 7 million. If we convert, I don't know, like 10% of them, right? That would be a huge, value add to Web3 in general. So that's the approach we really focus on.
I think if you can expand a little bit, I think more towards the network effects part, is that ultimately builders just want to succeed. And I think it is our job as an ecosystem to do whatever it takes, roll our sleeves up, and help them to do that. And that includes a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the stuff that they might be very good at technical, but sometimes we've got to help them ecosystem-wise. Go to market, give them advice, connect them to the right people, put them in a room with VCs and all that. We do all of those and try to do that. In fact, in Korea, we have great teams coming out of Korea specifically, since we're in Korea. So not sure how many of you know about Merkle Tree. Interesting. Yep, they're amazing. They're based out of Seoul. They won our Seoul hackathon last year. So we really see them grow from nothing to right now they did more than $10 billion US in volume in the past few months. And that's $10 billion. And they are funded by Hash and the top VCs and all that. But they are actually pretty profitable and fully native. They have, you guys should try it out. It's trading on-chain perpetual DEX basically on Aptos. And you can deposit from 9 EVM chains and use your assets and trade on-chain on Aptos. Only Aptos provides that high throughput. But along the way, we kind of help them along the way. I think once we have more success stories, it kind of brings in that network effects. Now, a couple of their friends are talking about it. Hey, how do you guys do it? Aptos help us a little bit, then it kind of snowballs from there. I think that's the focus we want to be, because there's no way around it except for really focusing on helping people succeed, genuinely. I think that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, I guess for us, except for all the things that you guys are doing, one thing I would kind of stress more is just the friendability of the person or the team. And because that actually sort of becomes your culture of your ecosystem. That's kind of what I like to work with people that has just good vibes. And then when you have good vibes, people kind of just talking together, it's easy for them to kind of stick and love the place together, right? It's the vibes, exactly. And then you just now it's not just going through the rewards, goals together, but also you can tolerate the bears together, right? I think one reason we're all staying in Ethereum is back in the days, at the time it's dancing, interesting dance on stage. It's just good vibes, right? That's how we stay. At least that's how I stay. So I think that's what I like to do. With all these projects that we're really supporting and putting them together, I want them to be really good vibes, not just interest driven.
Next one, do airdrops work?
No. This is an interesting question. I think they're effective if done correctly. I think if you're a new layer 1 blockchain, or if you're launching a dApp and you're planning on doing an airdrop, there's several different things you need to take into account. One, there's hundreds, if not millions of different farmers out there that are trying to farm your airdrop, right? So we kind of experienced this with our initial mainnet launch. We had some social-based campaigns. I think we filtered out over 400,000 and simple, like bots. But I do think it's effective when you think about like user acquisition. But I think the bigger question you should be asking more so is how do you retain those users going forward, right? Because you have some tasks or missions for like 1 or 2 months, and these users, they claim the rewards. But if you don't have anything of use or like application beyond that, it's very hard to retain these users. And so, make sure like when you're going to market and you're planning on doing your mainnet launch and you're doing an airdrop campaign, when that distribution is completed, make sure to have like utility and things for people to actually be able to do. Like that's like the biggest learning we've had so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm strongly agreed. But in general, I do think airdrop works. I think, well, in Web3, crypto is like the strongest leverage that we have to differentiate us from general Web2 marketing. So thinking about airdrop is basically the same thing as the free coupons, I don't know, all the other Web2 applications give out to the users in the beginning stage. So how to leverage that early impression and early attention and then convert those early attention into actual product users or developers, that's the key. So to echo Simon and Brendan's earlier points, I do think airdrop works, especially to acquire the first batch of users, first batch of followers. But afterwards, what we do to retain those users on our product, on our strategy, on our roadmap, and on our ecosystem in general, I think that's the key. That will decide how long the airdrop would work, and how many actual users and actual product users and developers can you actually gain from the airdrop.
I think just echoing what they just said, basically. Potentially good for bootstrapping, initial traction, gonna figure out the retention part and who your actual users are. I guess that's about it that we can really talk about. But just one thing that I think in recent year, at least in the past year, have taught us is just one small advice: don't overfund the farmers. That's it. I think the rest of the stuff is more on trial and error because everyone's product is different. Your customer profile is different. Your users are different. You need to speak to them, not the general agile farmers. So when you're doing all this stuff, you're getting to understand them a little bit more. And retention is incredibly important because you can bootstrap like fake numbers basically that just leave after. That's the danger of it. But it can be a very powerful tool to help you understand your customers in the process.
Yeah, the way I see airdrops is kind of like a generalization of Facebook ads. So Facebook ads only incentivizes like your viewing, right? Now airdrops is actually much more granular. I can define what action you have to take. Then I reward you, and the payment is also different. But from the activation, that's one side. I found that extremely interesting because on the typical Web3 advertising model, you can only define, oh, he saw me or she saw us, like that sort of thing. And now you get to do, oh, they have to do this certain thing. And I think the rest is very similar, which is after you got the ads or exposure, how do you retain them? Your product has to have that stickiness, you have to have that virality, etc. Right? But in the beginning, if you look at airdrop, it is literally Facebook ads in a generalized, powerful form. And the question is whether Facebook ad works. Yes, it does, right? So the generalized form definitely works, and in a much more granular way. I think a lot of cases it doesn't, just because it's so granular that it's like, okay, I can write anything. Then a lot of people write bad code. So a lot of people run bad airdrop kind of like campaigns with it. So yeah.
Okay, appreciate it, everybody. This is probably gonna be our last question. So, for those of you who have an accelerator program alongside your grant program and airdrop program, why should a founder apply for your accelerator? There's thousands of them. What makes yours different?
Yeah, sure. So we recently announced ours about 2 months ago, 0 to 1 accelerator. Couple unique benefits of us. I think more so it's really the team associated behind the accelerator program. So yeah, people from like traditional TradFi backgrounds. I'm I myself come from different layer ones. But you get a wide variety of different experiences that have done these launches in the past that can help, for us at least, like we can help you like with like tokenomics review, the legal insight, like legal implications of one decision over another, how you should be like setting up your team structure and whatnot. Alongside really just focusing on your go-to-market initiatives. For myself at least, I really want to, when I look at different orgs that want to go through our accelerator program, we really hone in on like the USPs, like what are the value props that set you apart, alongside like what your like roadmap plans are. So really for us, we're open to chatting with anyone that's building. Building on us would be nice on Nibiru, but really, I think it's just our strong backgrounds as a team collectively to just be able to give you guys, the advice to help you guys kind of go to market.
Well, I mean, if I was a project founder, well, I mean, speaking from like entrepreneur perspective, I would encourage the founders to apply for as many accelerator programs as possible. Because, well, I mean, the value and the advice, the support you gain from each ecosystem is actually very different. That's my perspective. Of course, every team, well, including everybody sitting here and all the other layer ones, on the market, I believe they're doing their best to support their ecosystem, to support anyone who actually, got approved or already received their ecosystem fund or accepted in their accelerator program. But the value they can provide is very different. So, well, for example, we're still very vertical, right? I mean, to data and AI. But meanwhile, I believe there are tons of talented project founders out there who have brilliant new ideas and innovative ideas. They should try every ecosystem. And then, you don't know. And I believe multi-chain is the future of Web3 as well. So that's another reason. Well, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time, just very quickly, we have a couple of accelerators. For example, the latest one that just got announced is we have a $10 million with OKX joint accelerator. So if you were talking about just one thing, what's our secret sauce in this accelerator part, is that we just want you to succeed. That's all. We will help you in everything that we can. Of course, it still depends on the founders and the teams. But when it comes to go-to-market, you have tokenomics issue. I think we all kind of talked about that. Will help a lot more with those things. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah. So Circuit doesn't formally have an accelerator kind of like program, but we sort of do. Like if you guys talk to us, like we're like, this is interesting. It's more like a friend forming. Yeah, you can probably feel from my vibe. That's kind of the vibe that's going on. So like, friends, this is nice. We do kind of like help out as much as possible. I think everyone has their special resources, right? And special resources are the way that we help out. On Circuit, I guess the real strength is that a lot of people are originally from Quantstamp, which is a security auditing firm. And myself included, I used to be a security auditor. I'm actually a nerd, an introvert. So with that, actually, we can help out a lot on helping to secure how you design the dApps, etc. Since the beginning as well, and as well as at the end when we're delivering. And then like, even if you don't go with Quantstamp, probably much preferential deal, etc. But even if you go with others, there's so many tricks to minimize the cost and also maximize the security and those kind of things that we can kind of like consult over. Like, we have been really hands-on with our friends. Like, we have weekly calls with these friends, like one by one, and we assign like engineers to our auditors, kind of like to really talk to them. And so that's kind of the current approach. So come and make friends.
All right, thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you.